I'd like to now call on Mayor Frank Brocato to deliver his reports, and I believe we have a couple of proclamations to begin with.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to invite our police chief up, Nick Durzis, Chief Durzis, and Executive Officer Kenny Fountain. And this is National Police Memorial Week, and we would like to honor the police force and just police officers all over the country, really all over the world. But we have a proclamation. I'd ask our city attorney to read that, please.
Whereas in 1962, President John F. Kennedy signed a proclamation which designated May 15th as Peace Officers Memorial Day, and the week in which that date falls is National Police Memorial Week. And whereas the members of the Police Department of the City of Hoover play an essential role in safeguarding the rights and freedoms of the citizens of our community, and whereas it is important that all citizens know and understand the problems, duties, and responsibilities of their police department, and that members of our police department recognize their duty to serve the people by safeguarding life and property, by protecting them against violence or disorder, and by protecting the innocent against deception and the weak against oppression or intimidation. And whereas our police department has grown to be a modern and scientific law enforcement agency which unceasingly provides a vital public service, now therefore I, Frank Brocato, Mayor of the City of Hoover, do hereby proclaim the week of May 11th through 17th, 2022 as Police Week in the City of Hoover, and encourage all citizens to observe the week with law enforcement officers, past and present, who by their faithful and loyal devotion to their responsibilities have rendered a dedicated service to their communities, and proclaim May 15th, 2022 as Peace Officers Memorial Day in honor of those law enforcement officers who, through their courageous deeds, have made the ultimate sacrifice in service to their community or have become disabled in the performance of duty.
Mayor, Council, I want to say thank you very much for the proclamation. I'm very, very proud to be part of Hoover Police Department. I think we have absolutely the finest police department in the state of Alabama. Work hard every day, and this week we can just really think about those officers literally around the world that have lost their lives protecting their communities. So again, just want to say thank you very much. We appreciate it. Thank you.
And next, we would like for our city clerk, Wendy Dixon, if she would come up and just, I guess, take a break from her duties. You know, I think we all know how important the city clerk is, but it is really amazing the amount of work that they do and the knowledge that they have and how they can keep you out of trouble so often. And this is a proclamation that's going to address, obviously, all clerks. But when we read this, we're reading it to you, and we want you to know that. Okay?
Whereas the office of the professional municipal clerk, a time-honored and vital part of local government, exists throughout the world, and whereas the office of the professional municipal clerk is the oldest among public servants, and whereas the office of the professional municipal clerk provides the professional link between the citizens, the local governing bodies, and agencies of government at other levels. And whereas professional municipal clerks have pledged to be ever mindful of their neutrality and impartiality, rendering equal service to all. And whereas the professional municipal clerk serves as the information center on functions of local government and community. And whereas professional municipal clerks continually strive to improve the administration of the affairs of the office of the professional municipal clerk through participation in education programs, seminars, workshops, and the annual meetings of their state, provincial, county, and international professional associations. And whereas it is most appropriate that we recognize the accomplishments of the office of the professional municipal clerk, now therefore I, Frank B. Bricado, Mayor, and John B. Lyda, Council President with the City of Hoover, do hereby recognize the week of May 1st through May 7th as Professional Municipal Clerks Week, and further extend appreciation to our professional municipal clerk, Wendy Dickerson, and to all clerks for the vital services they perform and their exemplary dedication to the communities they represent.
If I may add to that, Mayor, thank you for the kind words you said about all clerks, but especially our clerk. I'm biased, but I think we have the best clerk in the state of Alabama, and I have proof of that because most recently she was named the Clerk of the Year by the Alabama Association of Municipal Clerks. So she is the best of the best. So congratulations, and thank you for all you do for us. I noticed that. Looks great. Thank you, Mayor. We're honored tonight to have 3 candidates for public office to introduce themselves and speak to us. And the candidates know this, but we're 22 days away from primary day. So keep working hard, you guys. You're almost there, but we're always honored to have candidates who are willing to come before the council and the mayor and introduce themselves to our community and to us. So we'd like to begin with a candidate for the District Attorney of Jefferson County in the Bessemer Cutoff, Miss Minnie Tunstall. Ms. Tunstall, welcome.
Thank you, sir. Go here.
Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, gentlemen,
Good
council. Mr. Mayor. Mr. Lyda, Councilman Lyda. My name is Minnie Tunstall. I'm running for District Attorney of the Bessemer Cutoff. And parts of Hoover is in the Bessemer Cutoff, and a lot of people possibly didn't know that. I am a 30-year lawyer. I've been a lawyer for 30 years. I've worked 22 of those years in private practice. I've worked 8 of those years in the district attorney's office in Bessemer, Alabama, under two tours, I guess, of DAs. And I resigned 6 months ago in order to run for the district attorney. I was an assistant under the current district attorney. I am a former correctional officer, gives me that experience. I'm a former veteran. I am a veteran of the Alabama National Guard and of the U.S. Army. I've been on overseas tours. I've served here. I've served in Fort Polk, Louisiana, and I've served in Anniston, Alabama. I was a former psychologist. I worked in mental health at Bryce and in Decatur, Alabama. I have my law degree from the Birmingham School of Law. I have a bachelor's from the University of Alabama in Huntsville. And I am a resident. I grew up, born and raised in Bessemer, Alabama. I went to school at Abrams High School and Dunbar High School. And I have a son who's a veteran as well. My efforts to run for the district attorney's office are based on my being there in the midst of everything that goes on as far as the criminal element, and I feel that I am well qualified to do this job and to do it effectively. I have handled capital murder cases. I've handled murder cases on both sides of the continuum. I handled in private practice, and I prosecuted them. I've prosecuted robberies. I've prosecuted thefts. I've defended those things as well. I am well qualified in those areas. first of all. My goal at this point is to refocus this district attorney's office because of the influx, the increase of crime. I think the district attorney's office has lost its focus. The idea is to lessen the crime effect, to win cases, to prosecute the criminal, and to work with the community and the police together. And that's part of my goal, to have an inclusion of those three aspects and to effectively screen cases that comes through the district attorney's office. Oftentimes, we have to train our ADAs, we have to train our staff to recognize what the elements are and not to just have a case that we're gonna make a robbery, we're gonna say there was a robbery, but we don't have the evidence for it. So we have to effectively screen these cases. We have to effectively screen murder cases. And I will bring that to the table, as well as to bring to the table a winning attitude. The district attorney's office, as I've always thought, we have most of the evidence, so we ought to have a better chance at winning. And sometimes we're not. For the administrations I've been up under, it hadn't been that, it hadn't been that successful at this point. And I'd like to feel that I have the ability, based on my being a lawyer who can try cases and who can win cases and who plan to win every case I try. And I want to be able to bring something different. I want to be able to show that the system works, and the system, at some point, there are situations where we have to show fairness. We have to show that determination to better our community, to make it more safe. But we have to also recognize that the criminal has rights as well, and we have to be able to recognize those rights. We have to make probable cause, and not any cause we would like to come up with. And the police are needed. I never would interfere in the police arena, or nor would I let them interfere in mine. I would be one who would make it a situation where you know what I need to win a case. You know what I need to bring a case. And there would be an inclusion of the community, the family, and there would be a closure. Sometimes lately there's not closure of cases in an effective manner, in a timely manner. Families 5 and 6 years out are not getting closure that they need.
Ms. Tunstall, I'm sorry to interrupt you. We got a couple other candidates, so if you could put a wrap on your intro, I'd appreciate that.
Okay. So I would ask you on May 24th that you will vote for Minnie Tunstall for District Attorney of the Bessemer Cutoff, and I thank you for your attention to my long speech.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate you being here. We'd next like to welcome candidate for District Judge in Shelby County, Mr. Bill Dunn. Mr. Dunn, welcome.
I want to thank the council for allowing me to be here. Thank you, Mayor. And my name is Bill Dunn. I'm running for District Judge, Place 1. That spot is currently held by Judge Jim Kramer, who is retiring at the end of his term. And a little bit about my background. I grew up in the Cabo Heights area, and after attending school at Mississippi State and getting my undergraduate degree, I ventured out into the world of business because I got a business management degree and spent a number of years as a production manager for a very large company in Denver, Colorado. Then got recruited away to Orlando and decided to return to Birmingham area to start my own business. and ran my business successfully for approximately 10 years or so, and actually worked my way through law school while running my business without incurring any student debt whatsoever. One of the things that I did while I was in law school, I learned about the Court-Appointed Special Advocates Program, CASA, which are trained advocates to advocate for children in their best interest within the juvenile court system, and became a CASA volunteer under the guidance of Judge Patty Smith. That was certainly a rewarding experience, and that was perhaps one of the most eye-opening experiences that I had, and it was actually seeing the passion that Judge Smith had for the children and the families that inspired me to devote the overwhelming majority of my career to this court position that I'm seeking at this time. After passing the bar, of course, I began to do appointed cases and then received contracts. I've had contracts and served as the attorney for the Department of Human Resources, so I've seen it from their perspective. I've also worked for a number of years as an attorney representing parents whose children have been removed from them, custodians, petitioners who are seeking custody of children. I've also served as a delinquent attorney for the children or the youth that our fine police officers sometimes bring to detention, and we have to deal with them and address their choices and their situations and work to provide services to rehabilitate them. I've also served in the truancy court to deal with students who have a problem finding their way to school, and sometimes the parents who have a problem getting their kids to school. And for the last 4 years, I've served under my contract as a guardian ad litem for children. So I've served in the district court in Shelby County for the last 25 years and have touched on every single position that is involved in that court system. That experience within the court system, combined with my business management background and my business experience, I think will be a very strong asset to bring to the table. The other thing I've noticed is that over the last 25 years that I've been working in this court system, Shelby County has seen significant changes not only in population, but in demographics and diversity. Add to that the pandemic, and we have some issues that need to be addressed. I know any of you who've ever heard stories about the Shelby County court system have heard about people sitting in the hallway for hours on end. And one of my goals is to take my experience with management and the court system and make some changes in the procedures and the policies with the goal to increase the efficiency of this court fairly significantly without sacrificing child safety and welfare. That's what we're there for, is child safety and welfare. Some cases are going to take some time, but we need to focus more on improving the efficiency, respecting the people that are there, give them the opportunity to see the judge and not just sit in a hallway. The juvenile court has some unique issues in that regard, in that they're confidential proceedings, so you can't have everybody sitting in the courtroom like everybody's sitting here and like sit in a routine courtroom, a regular courtroom. So my background, my experience, I believe, puts me in a position where I'm ready to go to work day one, and I don't need to be trained in what to do in that court. I've been doing it for 25 years. I would certainly appreciate your prayers and your vote on May 24th, and thank you for giving me the time.
Thank you, Mr. Dunn. And finally, we have Ms. Erin Welborn, also a candidate for district judge in Shelby County. She's joined tonight by her husband, Jay, and their beautiful daughter. Welcome, Ms. Welborn. I about called you Miss Bale. I went way back in time there.
Thank you so much, Mayor, City Council, citizens. Thank you for having me this evening. My name is Erin Bell Wellborn. I am running for District Court Judge Place 1, the same position as Mr. Dunn. I have been in this court for the past 14 and a half years. I started out representing parents who had their children removed by DHR or a relative that the parents were not able to care for their child at that time. It was an eye-opening experience from a very overall sheltered life that I had lived at that point to represent these individuals. It gives me a very unique perspective. It also opens my eyes to the flaws in our court system and what works really well. One of the things that works really well in Shelby County is partnership and community. And that is where this position is needed. It needs someone who's going to reach across the aisle or the table and bring people into this system through our Children's Policy Council. Our Children's Policy Council in Shelby County, this court position is the head of that Children's Policy Council. And the Children's Policy Council for each county is not just involved with court-involved children, it's involved with all children in that county. And that policy council is responsible for your summer reading initiatives, partnering with nonprofits to do backpack buddies for children who experience food instability at home, so that these schools are able to send home snacks and ready-to-eat meals and things like that for these children who otherwise may not eat when they go home from school. So that's why this position is so important to me. It is not just the court aspect, but the entire community aspect. I've really worked hard in my campaign over the past year to reach out to all of the communities in Shelby County. Shelby County is 808 square miles, and I have driven almost every single one of them in the past year, trying to learn. As Mr. Dunn said, we are a very, very diverse county. We have extreme wealth and extreme poverty. And so you have to know that what's happening in Hoover and what the issues that juveniles and youth are facing in Hoover may not be the same issues that youth in Montevallo are having, or in Wilsonville, or Harpersville, or Vincent. Each community is going to be different, and you've got to, whoever holds this position has to be invested in all of Shelby County, not just where they live, not where they worship, but all of Shelby County. I would greatly appreciate your consideration on May 24th in the Republican primary. I covet your prayers. I covet your prayers for myself, my family, my fellow candidates and their families. Campaigns are not easy, and it really does affect it involves your entire family. So thank you very much for your consideration, and thank you for letting me come speak again tonight.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right, we'll now move to our consent agenda. Items 6 through 16 are put together on the consent agenda as items that we deem that can take one block vote. However, we would ask if there are any member of the body who would like any item 6 through 16 removed and moved to the regular agenda. We'll be happy to do that. Is there any member of the public that's here to speak on any item 6 through 16 that would like it removed and moved to the regular agenda? Seeing none, Mr. Corley, please read the items.
Item number 6 is the approval of minutes from the April 14th and work session and April 18th, 2022 City Council meeting. Item number 7, resolution number 6702-22, approves an alcohol license for the sale of 070 retail table wine off premises only for Dolgen Corp. LLC, doing business as Pop Shelf Store, 24033, located at 5537 Grove Boulevard. Resolution 670322 approves an alcohol license for the sale of 020 restaurant retail liquor for J.C. Hoover LLC, doing business as the Juicy Crab, located at 2740 John Hawkins Parkway. Resolution 670422 authorizes the acceptance of bid number 22-006 for drug testing laboratory equipment from DTPM and authorizes Mayor Brocato to execute an agreement for such. Resolution 670522 amends the budget for the fiscal year ending September 30, 2022, as set forth in the resolution. Resolution 670622 authorizes the City of Hoover to participate in the 2022 back-to-school sales tax holiday during the period from 12:01 a.m. on Friday, July 15th until midnight on Sunday, July 17th, 2022. Resolution 670722 authorizes Mayor Brocato to enter into an agreement with the Alabama Department of Transportation related to the bridge painting and repair on Alford Avenue Bridge, number 10686, over I-65 at exit 254A. Resolution 670822 adopts the Division G Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Plan in fulfillment of Federal Disaster Mitigation Act of 2000 and the Local Mitigation Plan requirement of the Code of Federal Regulations. Resolution 670922 informs the Alabama Department of Environmental Management of actions regarding the Municipal Water Pollution Prevention Program for the Inverness Wastewater Treatment Plant. Resolution 671022 informs the Alabama Department of Environmental Management of actions regarding the Municipal Water Pollution Prevention Program for the River Chase Wastewater Treatment Plant. Resolution 671122 declares a public purpose for the clean-out and repair of a drainage pipe affecting the public roadway of Sulphur Springs Road located within the public roadway and on properties located at 4911, 4921, and 4924 Sulphur Springs Road and 401 and 407 Pine Way Drive.
Mr. President, I move for approval of the consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and second for approval of the consent agenda. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and the motion carries. We'll now move to regular agenda where we have one lone item, item number 17, resolution number 6712-22, Mr. Corley.
This resolution authorizes Birmingham Water Works to install a fire hydrant between lots 2 and 3 of Happy Lane in Jefferson County.
Mr. President, I move for approval of resolution number 6712-22.
Second.
We have a motion and second. I anticipate an abstention on this item, right, Mr. Murphy?
Yeah, yes, sir.
If the clerk would note an abstention by Mr. Murphy on this item. Any questions or comments from the body? Any questions or comments from members of the audience? Hearing and seeing none, we have a motion and a second for approval. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. The ayes have it with one abstention by Mr. Murphy. We'll have a first reading of item number 18, ordinance number 22-2564. Mr. Corley.
This ordinance authorizes the annexation of property located at 2145 Kelly Lane in Jefferson County, Alabama.
Very good. We'll gather again for a second reading at our first meeting in May and a possible vote on that item. Are there any comments or questions from the body tonight? Any comments or questions from members of the public tonight? Hearing none, thank you for your attendance. We're adjourned.